Hare Krishna, this is Krishnadasa. Welcome everybody. In today's session of the Bhagavad Gita, we're going to cover Shlokas 2.38 to 2.44. So if you have your Bhagavad Gita in front of you, please turn it to 2.38 and then I will start the Shloka recitation. Okay, I'll start the recitation.
सुखदुःखे समे कृत्वा लाभालाभौ जयाजयौ ततो युद्धाय युज्यस्व नैवं पापमवाप्स्यसि एषा ते विहिता साङ्ख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्विमां शृणु बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहास्यसि नेहाभिक्रमनाशोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात् व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिरेकेह कुरु नन्दन बहुशाखा ह्यनन्ताश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम् यामिमां पुष्पितां वाचं प्रवदन्त्यविपश्चितः वेदवादरताः पार्थ नान्यदस्तीति वादिनः कामात्मानः स्वर्गपरा जन्म कर्म फलप्रदाम् क्रिया विशेष बहुलां भोगैश्वर्यगतिं प्रति भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां तया पहृतचेतसाम् व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधौ न विधीयते.
Hare Krishna. So I think today Suchita ji is going to read the translations.
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes.
Hare Krishna 2.38. Do thou fight for the sake of fighting without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by so doing you shall never incur sin. 2.39. Thus far I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. Now listen as I explain it in terms of working without fruitive results. O son of Pratha, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of war. 2.40. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. 2.41. Those who are on the path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of Gurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. 2.42 and 43. Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities and elevation to heavenly planets, resultant good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this. 2.44. In the mind of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Super Lord does not take place. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. So now Shri Krishna is going to move deeper into the science of karma. Before that, I want to quickly touch upon the question we were discussing in WhatsApp about good things happening to bad people and bad things happening to good people. So thank you for everybody who participated in the poll. I think it's almost 50-50, where most of you said it's just based on Sanchita Karma, and many of you said it's based on Sanchita Karma and Prarabdha Karma. So that was just to get you thinking. The right answer is Prarabdha Karma and Kriyamana Karma. So Prarabdha Karma is the part of karma that you are expected to deal with in this life. Sanchita Karma is the superset, is the balance of everything you have done in all your lifetimes. And then a part of it is given to you in this life. That is your Prarabdha Karma. And then there are new karmas that you generate in this life itself. That is your kriyamana karma. So pretty much whenever something happens that you can't explain, that's because it's a result of both kriyamana karma as well as prarabdha karma. I hope that makes sense. We can go into deep during revision. So the next week we are going to have revision. I'll talk more about it. So now I think we can proceed with today's session. So Shri Krishna now moves deeper into the science of karma. See, Arjuna had expressed a lot of fears. He says that, if I kill all these people, I may incur sin, I may fall into lowly planets, so on and so forth. So he is afraid of all the consequences. So that's why Krishna is telling Arjuna that he should engage in the battle just for the sake of duty. Keep your mind calm, Arjuna. Even in happiness and misery, sukha dukhe, profit and loss, labha labho, as well as victory and defeat, jay ajayo. The Krishna is using these pairs of opposites very carefully, because if you study them, you will see that they are three pairs of opposites he has called out, which represent three distinct experiences at three different levels. Let us see what they are. First, he has called out, what is the first one he's called out? He's calling out sukha dukhe, pleasure and pain. Now, they are the emotional experiences that we have at a sensory level. Right? And then he's talking about profit and loss. Now, these are intellectual experiences that happen at the level of the mind. And then he's talking about victory and defeat. They are physical experiences, which we experience at the level of the body. So, Krishna is advising that we must strive to maintain equilibrium at all these levels, irrespective of what is happening in our life. That is a very complete message he has given in such a concise shloka. Okay? Mind, body, and emotions, everything should be calm. Now, back in 2.15, Krishna had said that a person who is not affected by happiness and distress and remains steady in both, they become eligible for liberation. Krishna is going to continue this message. Now, what Krishna is adding to that, Krishna is saying is when we perform action with such calmness and even-mindedness, then our actions will not incur negative karma. What is Krishna saying? Krishna is saying that even the act of staying calm in the face of these ups and downs, in the face of these opposites, even the act of staying calm itself is a big part of karma yoga. So if you are saying, I'm a karma yogi, I want to practice karma yoga, then Krishna says one of the things you have to practice is this. That's a very big part of karma yoga. If you have profit, you are extremely happy. If you have loss, you are extremely sad. He says that doesn't make you a karma yogi. You have to be calm, regardless of what happens. Why? That's the science behind it. Why? Is because negative karma occurs only when the mind is controlled by negative emotions. Very profound philosophy here. Krishna will touch upon this topic many times in Bhagavad Gita, because the whole of Bhagavad Gita is about training the mind, controlling the mind, and channelizing it towards spiritual progress. So because all of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is emphasizing on training the mind, we should know that we cannot train a mind which is not calm. If the mind is not calm, how can you train it? Mind is like a horse. Have you seen these movies where somebody brings a horse and the horse is extremely wild and it will jump and try to kick, and then only one guy will be able to calm it. It doesn't listen to anybody else, but there is a significance behind it. The point to be noted is, first the horse has to be calmed down. Only then it will listen to you. While the horse is agitated, no matter what you tell, it's not listening. It's least interested in what you are telling. It's only going to keep getting more and more agitated. So Krishna says our mind is like that, the wild horse. If your mind is not calm, if it is agitated, you cannot put any sense into it. You cannot train it. And our spiritual evolution depends upon training our mind. So, practice calmness of mind. Very beautifully, Krishna is providing us the science and the reasoning behind why he wants the mind to be calm. And we have to keep in mind that animals cannot purposely calm themselves. They are very impulsive. They are designed to react to situations. Only a human being has this ability to purposefully calm the mind, regardless of the situation. That is why they say, or it is said in the scriptures, that it takes a human birth to get liberation. So if you want liberation from the material planet, everybody said it's because it can happen only through a human birth. Why? Because humans have this unique ability that they can calm their mind purposefully. And only a calm mind can be trained to evolve towards liberation. I hope that makes sense. So a calmness of mind, when you combine that with purity and selfless action, that will shield us from all kind of negative karmas. And that will take us towards liberation. A very important point to keep in mind. It's not just negative karmas you have to be careful of. Even positive karmas. You want to make sure that these positive karmas also are not binding you. For example, you say you help somebody financially. That's a positive karma. A natural side effect is somebody will give you more money. But if you want to receive that money and if you want to enjoy that money, then you have to be on this planet as a human being. So if you don't receive that money in this birth, you'll again come next birth to take that money. So even positive karmas, you should not let it bind you to these material cycles. Okay? That should be, positive karma should also be only helping you evolve spiritually. So that is possible only if even the positive karma is done with selflessness, with purity, and with a calm state of mind. That is the message here. Now, Patanjali, the great yogi, he has quoted in his Yoga Sutras, Heyam Dukam Anagatam. Very short, very powerful. What that means is, the pain that is yet to come can be avoided. Isn't that beautiful? By choosing the right reaction to our situations, we can prevent similar or worse situations from occurring again in our lives. So if you have to even understand what these teachings are, if you have to understand what Patanjali is saying, Krishna is saying, right now you need to be in a calm state of mind. I hope most of you in this session are having a calm mind. You're not agitated. Because if you're not, then this will give you aha moments. Like what Patanjali is saying, what Krishna is saying. They're all saying that if you are calm, in the previous session, we discussed that we cannot control the situation that comes in our lives. That's not in our control. But we can always control how we react to it. And the great people like Krishna, Patanjali, all of them, they are saying that if you react with a calm mind, then you can prevent those situations from happening again. Right there is a secret given on how can we get rid of this. Because if you see in your own lives, or in your friends' lives or relatives' lives, there are some people who will have the same kind of difficulties again and again and again. It could be financial difficulties, emotional difficulties, relationship difficulties. You will see a pattern, and you will wonder, why is this happening again and again to this person? And we say we have to learn the lessons. But what is the evidence of lesson learned? Is you react differently. And when you react differently, that cycle gets broken. So that is the technique given here by Krishna and Patanjali. So in 2.39, Krishna says that I have explained to you Sankhya Yoga, or analytical knowledge regarding the nature of the soul. Now listen, O Partha, as I reveal Buddhi Yoga, or the Yoga of Intellect. Krishna says, Buddhi Yoge Timam Shrunu. Listen to this Buddhi Yoga. Why? Because when you work with such understanding, you will be freed from the bondage of karma, which is what all of us need to know. Because we are all generating umpteen karmas every minute. And that binds us to this material world. So we need to know how to get free from this endless cycle. And Buddhi Yoga is the way Krishna is saying will help you. So this means that even while working and interacting with others, we can be free from the bondage of that work. Otherwise, that work is only going to create more and more bondage if you do it ignorantly. In other words, if we are in the world, if we are performing actions, if you are generating a lot of karmas, and if you are ignorant, we don't know the mechanics of karma yoga, then we are only going to keep getting more and more bound to the cycle of material life. But if we perform the same actions with this knowledge that Krishna is providing, then we can avoid the repercussions and we can avoid getting bound by it. That is the whole message here. Now, Shri Krishna already explained using Sankhya philosophy that there are two fundamental aspects of reality. You all remember the two fundamental aspects of reality? Raise your hands if you think it is making sense. Apurvaji, yes, you want to say what they are?
I think the good and bad both will go away.
Yes, that is one answer. There is one more answer of there are two aspects, like whatever you see around you, they are made up of two aspects. And this was one from the beginning of Sankhya Yoga, Krishna said. Okay. I want your mind to be calm, don't get agitated. So those two aspects are Purusha and Prakriti. The never changing aspect and the ever changing aspect. When you mix these two, that is what is the magic that you see all around you. So using that as a foundation, Krishna has already provided Arjuna with an understanding of the individual soul. That is how he explains the soul. He says the soul is in the body is Prakriti, the soul is Purusha. So that is how Krishna started his explanation to Arjuna. Now Krishna is emphasizing the importance of performing actions without attachment to their results. Now he is explaining that this detachment can be achieved by sharpening and focusing your intellect. To do what? You want to sharpen your intellect and you want to focus your intellect. And do what? Distinguish between Purusha and Prakriti. Distinguish between eternal and temporary. Distinguish between Sat and Asat. Distinguish between your true self and your body. And with such a discernment, you can detach from the fruits of action, because once you are able to have this discernment, you will understand that whatever you are trying to enjoy, they are all temporary, they are asat. So that cannot be your goal. Your goal has to be sat. So whatever Krishna is talking about, do your duty without attachment, be calm, that all becomes easier and possible if your intellect is focused and sharpened and focused again to discern at every instance, to make that discernment. What is real, what is not real, what is temporary, what is permanent, what is sat and what is asat. If you train your mind that way, then you will be a very calm karma yogi. So, one interesting thing to understand is, although our ultimate goal is to have, this is very interesting, and I remember in my previous class, we had a good laugh when we spoke about this, is our ultimate goal is self-realization and liberation, correct? And we said that we have to practice detachment to reach there. That's also correct. But we should make sure that we are not having attachment to detachment. I'm detached. And I'm so attached about my detachment. Because that is the final frontier of Maya. Maya doesn't spare you. Maya is very powerful. It will keep chasing you. Maya is going to chase you until you get liberation. So today you perform some karma yoga in the right way. Don't get too attached to that. Today you think you have learned something. Don't get attached to the learning. So on and so forth. Detachment is the key. But it is so hard. How do we do that? So Krishna has given an answer for that also. Krishna said, first do your duties with a calm mind, without any attachment. And if you find the attachment part to be difficult to handle, just surrender to me. Have that mindset of, okay, it's beyond me. I'm surrendering to you, Krishna. You take care of the results. And Krishna says, then I will come and help you. Now, we just spoke about Maya. We spoke about Maya previously also. So, Maya itself is made up of two words, Ma and Ya, of course. And here, Ma means not, and Ya means what is. So, Maya basically means that which is not what it appears to be. That is why we say Maya is the mother of illusion. Now, most of us, we have turned away from God, and Maya's job is to make us turn towards God again. So, Maya is not a villain actually. Maya is doing a very noble deed. Maya is always constantly raising our bar and reminding us that we are turned in the wrong direction. See, if everything is pleasant, how will you even know that you are looking at the wrong direction? There has to be some trouble, right? Only then you will know that, okay, I'm looking somewhere in the wrong direction. I have to turn somewhere else. So that is Maya's job. Maya's job is to keep giving you those troubles so that eventually you turn towards God. So the concept of Maya basically is, the more we turn away from God, the more Maya will trouble you. And the more you turn towards God, the more subtly Maya will trouble you. In other words, Maya's, when you are turning away from God, the quantity of trouble will increase. When you start turning towards God, the quality of trouble will increase. Because Maya wants to make sure that you never turn back again that way. So it will increase the quality of troubles. The troubles are always there. We have to be thankful for those troubles, because those are the troubles that give us an indication that we are on the right path. There is a saying, if the going is too easy, you are probably going downhill. So if your goal is to go up, it has to feel a little tough. Then you know you are on the right path. Now, there is another very important concept we are going to touch upon. So in 2.40, Krishna is assuring us that spiritual progress will never be lost. Na iha abhikrama nasosti. Any progress made in the spiritual path will remain permanently with us. Now, why? This context is very significant, because Arjuna is hesitant to engage in the battle because he is worried that I will have negative karma and I will fall down to lower planes. So he thinks he will lose all the virtues that he has. That is one of his concerns. So Krishna is saying that is not the case. Krishna says, as long as you stay on the side of dharma, as long as we fulfill our duties without attachment to results, we will grow spiritually and there will be no loss or diminution. There is another practical way to understand what Krishna is saying. Now let us assume that in the material world, many of us, I'm sure we are graduates or postgraduates, whatever. So let us assume that in the material world, we are a graduate and then we die. In the next birth, you are not directly going to start from post-graduation, right? The next birth, you will again start from kindergarten, first grade, second grade. No matter how many times you do graduation, how many times you die, you are going to again start from kindergarten. That is the nature of material knowledge. That is the nature of any material gains. Whereas what Krishna is saying here is the spiritual progress that we make in this life. They stay with us in the next life. That is what Krishna means by it is not lost. The spiritual progress and the karmas, they are the only thing we carry with us for multiple births. Everything else remains in this life. We leave it behind and go. So Krishna is providing another wonderful assurance. He is saying, Swalpam apasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat, which means even a little bit of this dharma, this philosophy, it will save you from great fear. Now, this phrase is emphasizing that any effort aligned with dharma is worthwhile and that even small steps can have significant impact. He is encouraging Arjuna and all of us to pursue the path of righteousness and to do whatever we can. Even if we feel overwhelmed, even if we are unsure, we don't believe or we don't know, am I going to succeed? That's okay. Keep doing it. Be consistent. That is Krishna's message here. Now, when he talks about fear, Krishna says this kind of practice of dharma and doing your actions, this will provide a protection from fear and suffering. So it's very important, especially in these times of great fear and calamity all over us, such uncertain times. It's especially important here that we have to understand what Krishna is saying. As long as we are aligning with righteousness in our actions, as long as we are calm, as long as we are performing those actions without attachments, we will avoid getting into mode of fear, and we can be sure that we have Krishna's grace on us. Very, very profound assurance here. As per the Vedas, there are 8.4 million species of lives in existence, which is in Indian language, it is 840 lakh species. It is said that humans alone, there are 400,000 or 4 lakh levels of consciousness, starting from the lowest level, which are like chandals, and the highest level is like self-realized souls. In between, we have 400,000 levels of consciousness. So too many choices you have. Okay, so no matter what level you are in, you have a place reserved for the next birth. That is the message here. So now we are also lucky and fortunate and privileged that we are able to read and understand Krishna's teachings. We have to implement it in our day-to-day life. And Krishna is saying, don't worry how big the impact is. You do it, do small way, make small steps. Even small jobs, small activities, do it with this mindset and be assured that it is going to take you a little ahead, and that progress will not be lost. Wonderful. So in the 7th chapter, Krishna is saying, if you surrender to me, then by my grace, I will take you across the ocean of material existence and I will command Maya to release you. You see, Maya is extremely powerful. Maya is a creation of God, and the Maya has a purpose to play. None of us can defeat Maya using our strength or willpower. It is impossible. If we have to totally get freed from Maya, the only way it can happen is through the grace of God. All these teachings help us become eligible for that grace. But finally, it has to be the grace of God. We have to tell God, I have done everything as per your teachings. I have lived the right way. I have lived the right life. And now please protect me and free me from Maya. And Krishna has promised that you follow my teachings. I will make sure that Maya releases you from her clutches. Just for reference, a similar thing is said even in the Bible. So Jesus says, submit yourselves then to God. Resist the devil and he will flee from you. The first, submit yourselves, is the first part to God. It comes in James. So I found a very close resemblance to what Krishna is saying. The same message. Another important concept is what I like to call as self-cancellation of thoughts. So in verse 2.41, Shri Krishna speaks about the importance of being determined and unwavering in the path of spiritual progress. The term used is Vyavasaya Atmika, which can be translated to mean resolute in the path of self-realization. Krishna also then mentions Avyavasayinam, which means those who lack such determination. And because they lack determination, they are not able to succeed in the spiritual progress. So some of you from the other classes, you may again see a similar theme here, because Krishna is again saying you have to be steadfast and committed. In other words, you have to be consistent in your efforts, because that is the only way to achieve your spiritual goals. You cannot do spirituality as a matter of convenience. It feels fashionable today, so I'm doing a little bit of spirituality. Tomorrow I'm going to my old ways. I'll take a break. Then I'll come back after 2 weeks. There are some people, the funniest thing is, I've really come across some youngsters, even in my work settings and all. Some youngsters come and tell me, sir, I think we will start spirituality after we cross 50. I'm like, wow, what makes you think 50 is in your pocket? Like, do you even know how it's going to be tomorrow? Are you going to see tomorrow? It's not guaranteed. So that's not how spirituality works. Krishna is saying, start small, take baby steps, but be consistent. Keep taking baby steps. That is Krishna's advice. Very important. Now, what happens is, even when we are trying to do even anything, even on the material plane, we have a goal, we want to succeed, but our own inner self comes and sabotages that. That is the first pragma we went through, right? The inner saboteur. And we go and spoil our own plans. Our ego is mostly to blame, and our mind, doesn't let you focus. That is what is called self-cancellation of thoughts. So let's consider an example, okay? Interesting example. So there is a student named Ekansh. I think I got Ekansh's attention now. Okay. Now the student is preparing for a very important exam. Now Ekansh, he wants to achieve very high grades in the exam. That's his goal. But he also has other desires. Like he wants to spend time with friends, he wants to play video games, he wants to watch TV, he wants to know all the latest movies, so on and so forth. So many desires he has. So when Ekansh sits down to study, his mind becomes preoccupied with other desires. No, and then he finds it hard to focus on studies. He says, let me spend some time playing. So he goes and tries to play with his friends. But when he's playing with his friends, his mind tells him, hey, you are supposed to study. So he's neither progressing on studies, nor is he enjoying his play. He's nowhere. He's not progressing, he's not succeeding, and he's not happy either. This is what is called as self-cancelling thoughts. Because conflicting desires, they cancel each other out. They don't let you progress in any one area. Like you want to spend time with friends, that is one thought. You have to sit and study, that is another conflicting thought. You have to play a video game, that is a third conflicting thought. And they're all cancelling each other out. Energy. It's all energy. Energy going in different directions, cancelling each other out. At the end of the day, you just feel tired, exhausted, and you have not done anything yet. Many of us have probably felt this. By evening, we feel so tired and exhausted, but if you look at the day, we have not really accomplished anything. And then we have to ask, what makes me so tired? That is primarily because of this cancellation of thoughts. Because our mind is going in many different directions, and it is energy. Everything is energy. Your thought is energy. Your mind going in any direction is energy. So at the end of the day, you have spent a lot of energy cancelling each other and not really achieved anything. Isn't it so practical? That's what Krishna is calling out here. Another extremely important concept. Our intellect is the decision maker. The mind is the follower. So once the intellect decides something, the mind will, for example, the intellect will say that money is what is most important in life. Once the intellect makes that conclusion, the mind will run behind money all your life. That is how it works. Now, we cannot directly go and control the mind, because the mind is a very obedient servant of the intellect. The intellect has told it that money is important. No matter how much you try to hold that mind back, it is not going to listen to you. It will run behind that money. What is the best way to control the mind then? Is go to the root cause, go to the master. Master is the intellect, controlling the mind, and fix your intellect. That is what Krishna is teaching here. Focusing your intellect and using your intellect in the right direction to give your mind the right messages. And then the mind will start doing what is right. So that is why Krishna is calling this as Buddhi Yoga, because he wants us to have this right Buddhi, and that Buddhi will help our mind do the right things. So be very careful. Listen to your own intellect. Be very careful what you are reading, who you are listening to. One of the other reasons why satsang is so important, because intellect constantly gets influenced by what other people say. If you are in bad company all the time, if you're all the time spending times in clubs and pubs and all of that, you are surrounded by that kind of influence. And then it is very hard to get your mind to the right direction. Whereas in a satsanga, if everybody is talking about God, talking about spirituality, talking about purity, humility, all of that, your intellect will also start getting influenced that way. And somewhere it will start giving those messages to your mind, and then your mind will obediently follow it. That is why satsanga is so important. And that is also why Krishna says consistency is important. So if you are having good company and if you are doing good deeds, do it consistently. I hope this all makes sense. The fundamental goal of Buddhi Yoga is to help us get liberated from this world of Maya and achieve self-realization. And Buddhi Yoga teaches us how to use questioning, inner questioning, and removing our own self-limiting thoughts and perceptions. So I want to quickly cover just some technical aspects about Jnana Yoga, because Krishna is talking about Buddhi Yoga, Jnana Yoga. So this is not too important for us to be experts in, but just we should know what the topic consists of. So there are 4 pillars of knowledge as explained by Swami Sivananda. So when you say Jnana Yoga, what is Jnana Yoga? So there are 4 pillars there. The first pillar is Viveka, which means discernment, discrimination. Second is Vairagya. Vairagya, extremely important, which is dispassion and detachment. The third is Shad Sampat, which is 6 virtues he's spoken about, Sivananda. Those 6 virtues are Shama, Dhamma, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, and Samadhana. I will share the notes, you can read all of that. These are all technical. If you are interested, if you are intellectually oriented, you want to know more about Jnana Yoga, I will give you the pointers, you can go dive deep into them. And the fourth pillar is Mumukshutva, which means longing or earning. It is said that unless you have the real longing, so there is a story where somebody went to a great saint and said, I want to learn how to get God realization. And the saint says, you are not ready. And this guy keeps coming back. The saint keeps telling him, you're not ready. And this guy gets very angry. He's like, what do you mean I'm not ready? How do I know I'm ready? So the saint takes him to a river, holds his neck, and dips his head into the water. After 15-20 seconds, that guy wants air, but the saint is not letting go. He's still keeping the head inside the water. And this guy is totally struggling. And at some point, he's so desperate, he just wants that one breath of air. And so he's a saint, so he knows what is the threshold, how much this guy can handle. So just when this guy feels he can no longer take it, the saint takes him out of the water. And this guy is like, what did you do to me? Why was it important? The saint says, how badly did you want air? The man then realizes, the saint says, that badly when you want God. That badly when you want God realization, then you will make real progress on the path of spirituality. That is what we keep saying about bhakti of convenience will only take us so far. Like today I have nothing else to do, let me sit and listen to Bhagavad Gita. That kind of bhakti will take us only so far. Somewhere it has to become top priority. And that is what is even told in Jnana Yoga. Even in Jnana, this is specifically said in Bhakti Yoga that you have to have that longing and earning. But even in Jnana Yoga, Shivananda has said the fourth pillar of Jnana Yoga is Mumukshutva, which is that longing. That longing will cause us to go in the right direction. So I hope this all makes sense. So I think that should be enough for today. Once again, thank you so much, my dear Satsang family, for your support. And today I spoke a lot without a break because there was a lot to cover. And I wanted to make sure we finish all of that in this session, because we have crossed the 50% mark. In second chapter is a very big chapter. So we have finished more than 50% in today's session. And I want to make sure that we understand what we learned. So next week, I would like to have a revision session. So this is how we usually do our Bhagavad Gita sessions. Chapter 2 is special because chapter 2 we will have 2 revisions for chapter 2. Every other chapter, we do a revision at the end. But because chapter 2 is so big, let's have 2 revisions. If everybody is fine with that, next week we will have a revision. The way this works is, I will need some volunteers. You can raise your hands or you can ping me on WhatsApp that you are a volunteer. And I will create a small group and I will share questions with you, which you can prepare answers. And it is nothing is going to be outside the syllabus. but answers can be very creative. It's up to you how we want to get the answers, and we will then go through that revision in the next week. So do you, and I encourage especially the newer students for whom this is the first time they are doing Bhagavad Gita with us, please volunteer, because this is going to be a good experience, because when you find out those answers, it will deepen your learning. And this is a beautiful satsang family, loving family. Nobody will judge you, and there is no marking, there is no fail. Everybody is going to pass. So you can either volunteer now, or I can chase you through WhatsApp. Okay, we have Lakshmi ji, we have Alap, Ekansh.
Guruji.
You'll remember? Yeah, we have Lakshmi ji, Suchita ji, Alap ji, we have Ekansh, and we have Apurva ji. Okay, we may need 2 more at least.
I don't Gita.
Oh, cool. Monica ji is also volunteered.
No, I don't have Bhagavad Gita.
You don't have Bhagavad Gita? We should fix that
No.
problem quickly. But you have my
Yeah,
notes.
I will go and I will buy it.
Okay,
I'm
no
going
problem.
India, right?
Okay. Who else? I will also volunteer some of you if I don't get enough volunteers. And then Deepa ji is there, and I think I'm going to volunteer Sujata and Rajesh ji also. Okay, then Hare Krishna. See, the daylight savings time changes from tomorrow. So next week, because we also have this other class right after this, so it's a little difficult for us to schedule. So what I was thinking is the Bhagavad Gita classes, instead of 6 p.m., it will become 7 p.m. because it is daylight time changes. So it will impact only people in USA and Canada. But for India and Dubai, the time is going to be the same. I hope that's okay with everybody.
Yes, Guruji.
So next week for Bhagavad Gita, we will start the class at 7 p.m. and we will have revision next week. Okay then, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, questions today?
In
Hare
revision.
Krishna.
Krishna. Yeah,
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
we'll see in 15 minutes.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.